Ladies and gentlemen, kindly turn your attention to the video screens. The program is beginning.
The Boys and Girls Club has had a major impact on me as a parent. I needed to have a place where my son would be safe.
I'm able to work more. I know that my son is safe and he's having a good time with his friends. And he's learning as well.
I feel safe when my kids come. I feel welcomed when I walk into the building. And I feel that they are gaining and learning valuable lessons.
I was surprised at all of the options that they provided for the kids to learn different life skills, different life experiences. It reinforces what some of us parents were trying to instill at home in the first place.
The impact that the Boys and Girls Club has had on my children, I feel, has been a positive one. I feel that they're more outgoing, they make friends easily, and they're more respectable to their elders.
Anthony's my only child, so he gets to come and interact with other children as well. And you just see a difference in him. It's something to look forward to.
What I like most about the Boys and Girls Club is the family atmosphere. It's very inviting. The club, not only have I invested in them, but they've invested so much time in me, and it's allowed me to grow fully, my full potential.
It's different things you could do. You could do basketball in the gym. You could work on computer stuff. You could do your homework. They have a whole hour for your homework, and then when you get home, you have more time to spend time with your family.
I've been attending the Boys and Girls Club for 13 years. It made me who I am today, and it got me running towards a good future. This is basically a second home to me.
When you have a place and you have a community that wants to see that child be well, be safe, and to grow and develop, you want to be a part of it, and you want to have your child be a part of that. And they were able to provide that to me and to my son.
Good evening, everyone. Wow, that was a great video. My name is Greg Davis, and I'm a board member at the Boys and Girls of the Hartford. I'm not Senator Doug McCrory, but I play him on TV sometimes. So I just wanted to share a couple of words about my affiliation with the Boys and Girls Clubs and to let you know why I am a lifelong supporter, giver, and lover of the Boys and Girls Clubs. Like some of the young people that you saw in that video, I grew up in our Northwest Club. I have been affiliated with the Boys and Girls Club now for 50 years. I started attending the clubs when I was 6 years old, the Northwest Club in a housing project in the north end of Hartford. And I had two older brothers, and my mom would make them take me to the club. And what stands with me the most is that my greatest hero in my life was a gentleman by the name of Joe LaPenta. And I met Joe when I was 6 years old. Joe passed away 3 years ago, and I gave the eulogy at his funeral. And it was one of the most touching moments in my life as an adult. And I think back to this saying that I've heard a long time, that people come into your life for a reason, a season, and sometimes a lifetime. And that's what I think about when I think about my association with the Boys and Girls Clubs, and particularly Joe LaPenta. The title of my eulogy was Touched by an Angel, and it really talked about how the Boys and Girls Club changed my life. It talked about opportunities that I received through the Boys and Girls Club that I would not have otherwise. And I always think back to having a debt that I could never repay. People say, Greg, why do you do so much in the community? And it all starts because of what happened and all of the blessings that I received, and they all started at the Boys and Girls Club. And I am so excited to be here tonight, and I just wanted to share a moment about my history, because I do think that The Boys and Girls Clubs make a tremendous difference and an impact in the community. And for a young person to benefit from all the programs and services, and I would tell you as a young person, we grew up in a housing project, didn't have a lot. My mom did the best she could, but we never felt as if we didn't have much because we had the Boys and Girls Club, and I thought that we had everything that we needed. We had arts and crafts, we had a gymnasium, we had a library, and as far as I felt, my self-esteem was great because I felt like I had just as much as any kid in the surrounding communities. And I think that that's what our clubs do. And it's so important for all of us here tonight, and I can't thank you all for your support and what you do. It means a lot. And I just think back to all of the opportunities I have between not being able to afford my first year of law school, and the Board of Trustees from the Boys and Girls Club made it happen so that I was able to get through my first year of law school. And it goes on, and it's not just me. There were thousands of others, young people in the city of Hartford who have benefited. But I think one of our greatest accomplishments since I've been on the board in 1992 was when we changed our name from the Boys Clubs of Hartford to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford, which was in 1993. And as you saw from our dances earlier, our girls are taking over, which is a good thing. But again, I just wanted to share, and again, thank you, because the Boys and Girls Club is a special place, and I can't thank all of you, and I can't thank the clubs. And it's really an honor for me to introduce Sam Gray, who is our president and CEO. Sam is one of the most passionate people I know when it comes to the Boys and Girls Club, and we have really been blessed with him as a leader. And Sam, we thank you so much, and if you would please join us, thank you so much.
You might want to play that a little longer. Thank you, Greg. I think you did better than Senator McCoy. You represent the best of what we want our club members to be in regards to being productive, responsible, and caring in our communities. I want to thank the amazing people at Primacy at table number 1 over there. They did the video, so thank you so much. That was truly amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the best job in the world. I have the opportunity to work for the country's first Boys and Girls Club organization. And bottom line, I work for kids. And we are all here, all of us, for kids, Hartford kids. Tonight, we get to celebrate what we have accomplished together with our youth this year. I want to briefly share with you some highlights. Last year, we touched the lives of more than 8,000 young people in Hartford, and that's roughly 1 out of every 3 kids in the Hartford public school system. In partnership with Food Share and the House of Bread, we helped serve more than 100,000 meals through our clubs. For many families we serve, this service contributes to meeting a critical family need. Last summer, we helped provide more than 82 kids with their first-time summer work experience through our summer camp and internships at several local companies. In addition to building 21st century work skills, we want to build equally strong citizens. In fact, last year, 1 in every 2 club members volunteered in their community to give back. And lastly, like Greg, like so many other alumni that walk through our doors of a Boys and Girls Club, more than 57% of our alumni credit their childhood club with saving their lives. That's the impact that you make possible. The club sites, staff, and programs that make that impact possible are only available because of all of you, and I thank you for that. Your generous support continues to inspire and motivate me. I want to take a moment to recognize the best Board of Trustees in the greater Hartford area. They work tirelessly for our organization and our kids year-round. Could you please stand? So to the true heroes, the superheroes, I call them, our staff. These are the people who help us fulfill our promise. Every club, every kid, every day. They listen, encourage, challenge, mentor, and support our club kids every day. Our staff is working hard tonight, but let's give them a round of applause for all that they do as well. Before I move on, I do want to acknowledge the more than 65 amazing club members involved in tonight's program and give the dance team a round of applause as well. Great job by all. And there's more to come. Tonight's Champion of Youth Award is presented to our community partner and presenting sponsor, Aetna. Like the Boys and Girls Club, which were founded in Hartford and in 1860, Aetna has played a pivotal role in the health and vitality of the Hartford community for more than 160 years. Not only are they our valued neighbor in the Asylum Hill community, they are also a true partner of the club, providing volunteers for our clubs, program support, sponsorship, and summer internships for our youth. In fact, the past 2 Youth of the Years have both interned at Aetna. As the corporate vice president and head of community activation and local marketing, is that your whole title for real? Floyd Green and his team play a critical role in connecting the financial resources and talented employees of Aetna to help our organization and the youth we serve. They create opportunities for young people to change their lives. In recognition of their generosity to our clubs and its ongoing commitment to improve the lives of Hartford's youth, I am pleased to present our Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford's 2019 Champion of Youth Award to Aetna. Mr. Green, please come to the stage to accept this award.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, we're just really delighted that Jazz and Casey are here tonight. Youth of the Year. I think Casey won last year. Yeah. You know, and I'm so delighted that they're not work for Aetna. They are actually on our team and a part of our family, and we just love them to death. So congratulations again. We love you. I am honored to accept this award on behalf of thousands of Aetna employees who share our company's commitment to being active participants in building communities, healthy communities for our kids, where we live, where we work, and where we play. We are very proud of our involvement with the Boys and Girls Club of Hartford, and we are happy to serve as tonight's presenting sponsor. In fact, we're honored to serve. Tonight, we celebrate great futures. I've had the opportunity as a Youth of the Year judge this year to meet an amazing young woman with a very talented and great future, who I now have the privilege of introducing. The Youth of the Year is the highest honor the Boys and Girls Clubs bestow on a club member. The award is given to a club member who must exemplify the values of the Boys and Girls Club, leadership, integrity, and community service. The competition is for real. I mean, it's real. They come to compete. I was like, dang! They walk out and just drop the mic. Yeah. I was like, wow! Each candidate represents the best of their club. I mean, the best of their club. I mean, you're just so proud to see these young kids presenting. They must write multiple essays, receive letters of recommendations, and be interviewed in person by a panel of distinguished judges from the business community. It is not for the faint at heart. I mean, when they walk in to be interviewed, we really want them to be their best, and we ask them the questions that push them to think and to be able to dig deep into their souls to bring out the best that they can be. And while all the youth were poised and articulate and destined for great futures, while all of them are, one candidate stood out for her determination, her ability to overcome obstacles, and her goal-oriented approach to her future. Quite frankly, she was amazing, and she blew us all away. Please join me in welcoming the Boys and Girls Club of Hartford's 2019 Youth of the Year and proud member of the Trinity College Club for more than 11 years, Ms. Arcelis Mia Figueroa.
Oof, there's a lot of people. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and having an amazing impact on my life. My name is Arcelis Mia Figueroa. I was born in Hartford 17 years ago. This fall, I will be attending University of Connecticut at Storrs. Go UConn! Between these two events, much has happened in my life. Let me take you on that journey. Growing up, I was a quiet kid, but full of so much life. Always looking for opportunities to explore and taking interest in the unknown. Unfortunately, at the young age of 4, I experienced an incident that would forever change the course of my life. In the summer of 2005, I attended a summer camp program. My excitement to be there and experience camp life was contagious. After 2 long weeks of what seemed like forever, we finally got to go swimming. Right after leaving the changing room, I was in the hallway that led to the pool. An older boy approached me. He grabbed me, down there. It hurt. I was only 4 years old. There I was, left standing in the changing room, overcome with shock and anxiety. A sense of shame washed over my body. I was scared. I immediately tried to forget this horrific experience. For the remainder of the day, I was silent, trying my best not to tell anyone about what happened. The last few hours of camp were grueling. When I finally got home, I told my mother what happened. She asked me many questions before bringing me to the doctor's office the following day. With the help of my mom, we properly reported the incident, and after a week's time, it was never mentioned again. That camp experience left me fearful and insecure, not wanting to attend summer camp or any after-school program ever again. I just wasn't myself. But little did I know that 2 years later, I'll be walking into the doors of a Boys and Girls Club, and my life would change for the better. It was September 4th, 2007, I remember that day, that I stepped into the Boys and Girls Club at Trinity College. My head was pounding, I hadn't eaten anything since lunch, and I was surrounded by over 100 unfamiliar faces. I honestly wanted to go home. But then, I saw kids playing air hockey in the game room and got a whiff of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies coming from the kitchen. I couldn't help but feel the positive and loving energy. This shy 6-year-old girl didn't want to leave then and still hasn't left to this day. Since that first day attending the club, I realized how incredible it was and immediately wanted to become a part of its fabric. So I did. The Boys and Girls Club became my safe space to share my stories, express my feelings, and be vulnerable without judgment. I didn't always have this at home because there was always so much going on. Even though my parents loved me, they didn't always have the time that I needed to share some of the heavy burdens I carried. As I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate my intact family structure. Thanks, Mom, and thanks, Dad. I know it hasn't been easy, but with your love and the support of the club staff, I have learned to rise above my obstacles. Over time, I learned how to step out of my comfort zone from the shy, quiet kid I once was. The club gave me the tools and guidance that I needed to advocate for my club, my community, and myself. It motivated me to want to lead others in a positive direction. I did this by getting in every, and I say every, Boys and Girls Club program that was available to me. In addition, I've completed over 2,000 hours of community service within my club. Imagine if every youth was connected to a Boys and Girls Club. That would be darn cool, right? That is why I'm ecstatic that the Boys and Girls Club has launched a capital campaign for a new Boys and Girls Club right in my own backyard in the south end of Hartford. Honestly, yeah, that deserves a clap. Honestly, I don't know where I would be today without the Boys and Girls Club. Certainly not here. Even with my heavy involvement and mentorship in the club, I became trapped myself. A few years ago, I was in a relationship that was filled with disrespect, anger, emotional, and mental abuse. I wasn't in this relationship long before I remembered everything I learned in the Smart Girls program. I knew my self-worth and identified the signs of an unhealthy relationship early on. So, I ended it. Earlier, there had been a wound reopened that had been festering for a while. I guess I had been trying to repress it for too long. I realized that I was a victim of ongoing, but ever so subtle, sexual harassment and sexual objectification by a so-called trusted adult who took advantage of his power. I knew what he was doing was wrong, and yet I still struggled to speak up. I still felt the shame and fear that came with telling someone. Despite my hesitation, I promptly reported the incident, but could not help being dragged back to that innocent 4-year-old girl. I informed my parents and my club mentor, Miss Ashley, of the situation that occurred, and they were very supportive. It was then that I was able to comprehend how important the Me Too movement is for those women and men who speak up. No one wants to talk about being violated, manipulated, or demeaned, which is why it is so hard now for me to even use this platform to tell my story. During various aspects of my life, feelings of insecurity and depression have consumed me. My body image issues and deaths of close family and friend only added to my bouts of depression, making me want to retreat. I'm committed to finding ways young people can become the blooming individuals that they are and share their stories with the hope that this can be as cathartic for them as it has been for me. But now, let me boast a bit. Despite my long journey to get where I am now, I have always remained a high honor student. With much hard work, I am graduating at the top 5% of my class with a GPA of a 4.1. My academic successes have led me to be a Fox Scholar, as well as both a National Honor Society member and a member of the Harvard Promise Scholar Program. Throughout high school, I have always pushed myself to go above and beyond. Taking 8 honors courses, 3 AP classes, and 2 college courses, all in math and science, has not been easy, but I managed to do so during my high school tenure, while also being heavily involved in sports. I am competing in 3 varsity level sports, including volleyball, swimming and diving, and captaining the softball team. And when I'm done with all of that, I work a little bit more than 15 hours a week in a permanent part-time job, which I've had throughout my senior year and intend to keep up until I'm off to college. I have also had summer internships each summer during my high school tenure. In the summer 2017, I interned at Aetna as a multimedia intern, and I loved it. And in the summer 2017 and 18, a technology early career development intern at Cigna. I will return to Cigna this summer for another amazing internship experience. Thank you, Aetna, and thank you, Cigna. You guys are truly the greatest. As a Latina woman, a teenager, and someone who struggles with anxiety and insecurities, I understand that I occupy several marginalized identities. I realize that I have and will continue to face obstacles. I aim to be the best version of myself every day. We must grind for what we want, never giving up on our dreams. Each and every day, I put one foot in front of the other, taking it one step at a time. Life has given me a million little pieces that I've been patient enough to string together. I want all of you to know that I am not a victim. I do not claim victimhood, and I do not want special treatment. I am Araceli Mia Figueroa, and I have overcome.
And I've gotten to know her and see her at some of the Boys and Girls Clubs events over the years, and it has been a true blessing and an honor just to see the growth and to see how you're coming along in life. We are all so proud of you. You are a remarkable young woman. You are Youth of the Year. You're a smart girl. You are everything. So let's have a round of applause for this one here. Your future is bright, and we applaud you. So congratulations. So I hope that you guys were all moved and motivated by everything. Oh, sorry. Oh, and one more thing I want to say, and she did not tell me to say this, but this young lady, she's headed to UConn, and she's studying computer science, and she wants to be a hacker, she tells me. Of the good kind, you know? So if there is anyone in here, and I mean this because we all know it's about having connections to people who can help you, if there's anybody who can offer her any guidance or any kind of support in her journey as a young woman working in computer science and IT in that hacking space, find her after this. This is my personal request to all of you. So I hope that you guys were all inspired by her speech and that of Greg earlier. The Boys and Girls Club, I should say, was there for all of them when they needed it and continues to be there for them these days, and that's all because of your support. So at this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium a friend of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford who has been a member of the Board of Trustees for 25 years. That is Kathy Bromage. Kathy?
So I just want you to know, I was asked if I would make the ask just last week. I am not a professional fundraiser. I've never done this before, and you guys are gonna make me great. So, this is the major fundraiser of the year for Boys and Girls Clubs. This is where we raise the lion's share of our money. This makes or breaks our year. We're counting on your support tonight. Our goal at this part of the evening is to raise $60,000. And there's two ways you can donate. You can use the app that you've all been using to bid to donate at any time. You can use the envelopes that are inside your program and fill those out, and folks will be around to collect them. But before I start by asking you for money, I just wanted to spend 1 minute to share my own experience with the Boys and Girls Clubs. So I've been involved for a really long time, longer than most relationships last. I didn't even try to be funny there. But the reason that I am so committed was an experience that I had early on. I'd gone to a lunch, and they were trying to start a mentorship program, connecting people with the kids in the clubs who needed additional help. And I was just sitting there eating my lunch. I had no intention of volunteering, but everyone at my table did, so I was embarrassed into raising my hand. For 11 years, I mentored a young girl starting at the age of 11. And I will tell you, it changed my life and my understanding of the challenge that these kids face. She was living in a house that was filled with adults, all over the age of 65. Her mother and father were nowhere to be seen. And as we got to know each other more, you do the usual, what are you learning in school? And I realized that she was at least 2 years behind what my nieces were learning at the same age, and was struck by the disadvantage. I didn't quite appreciate what hoarding was until the show became popular, but there was no place in her home to do her homework because there was no flat surface on which to put down her books. She had no role model. She had never been outside of her neighborhood. She had never seen the possibilities that we take for granted. You look around this room, we are all parents, step-parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, caring people, and think about what our children take for granted and what they get from all of you: education, expectation, and support. What this young lady did have was unconditional love in her home, and every person in that home wanting the best for her and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford. And she made it to college against all odds because of the care that she got at Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford. And that's why I've been a board member for 25 years. Okay, so I'm heavily scripted here so that I do this right. So I'm going to start by asking folks who would raise their hand because they're willing to contribute at the $5,000 level, and I'm going to go from there. And as I was telling folks earlier, I'm not going below $200 because you have to at least pay for your meal. All right, so who in the audience tonight would get us started towards our $60,000 goal by raising their hand to commit $5,000? Awesome. I'm very, very patient. Good? Everybody knows where they're going? Perfect. All right, the next level, this is cheaper than many of the items in the silent auction, $2,500. Who would give $2,500 to help support young people in the clubs, like the woman you heard today, and the women and the men that I have heard at this event every year for more than 20 years? $2,500, if you would raise your hand. I think the idea here is once you're donating, you get one of these light up things, and the idea is to set this place ablaze. So at the end, I hope that's what we've accomplished. Thank you for your support. We still have more to go. But let's hear a special cheer from our cheerleaders here that we heard from earlier this evening. Thank you, ladies. All right, we're not done. I know you guys want to get out of here. It's a weeknight. $1,000. Who in the room tonight is willing to raise their hand for $1,000? $1,000 funds a year's worth of programming for a club kid. $1,000 to make a difference. $1,000? All right, 500. Who's willing to give $500 to support many of the programs you heard about this evening? All right, I'm going to go one more level down. $250. Let's pay for a little bit more than the cost of putting on the event. $250. Lots of hands, $250. Now, obviously, if that's a little too rich for your blood, more than willing to take any donation that makes sense for you, that every dollar counts. I think you would see if you studied our materials, the work that has been done to try and monetize what a dollar is worth. A dollar investment in the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford returns $10 to the community. Because parents have a place for their kids to go after school that enables our parents to hold full-time jobs. Because kids avoid risky behavior. Kids move on to college or to a vocation. And these kids come back and they give to their community. It is in our collective best interest to support Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford. So anybody who wants to contribute any amount of money, just raise your hand, raise your booklet, get one of these light up things, and thank you very much.
I see there are still some hands that are going up, so don't worry. You will get your opportunity to get that fun little blue light up button. And also, again, I want to remind everyone that on all of the tables here are envelopes if you do want to write a check. I see some of you, thank you very much, writing those checks right now. So feel free to contribute in any way you can. Of course, you can also give online, and I think you've been getting text messages throughout the evening for anyone who is interested in making a donation.
Leslie, we have a cheer from the cheerleaders for the crowd.
Oh yes, we're gonna hear from the cheerleaders. That was the voice of something much larger than myself. I'm here to acknowledge the young people who are down here, so let's have a thank you cheer from the young ladies down there. Well, thank you, young folks. That was fabulous. You know, I tried to make the cheerleading squad when I was in school. I was not successful. It wasn't, wasn't in the path for me, but you all did an excellent job. Round of applause for them. So again, thank you to everyone here for all of your support today, your support monetarily tonight, your support throughout the year of the Boys and Girls Clubs means so much to Hartford, to this community, to the young people who you've met tonight and who we meet all year long who are directly impacted by your generosity. This night has been an amazing one, I think, celebrating the youth of the year and all of the kids who are a part of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford. It has been an absolute honor and pleasure to be back here serving as your MC tonight. And on behalf of me and Sam and Kathy and everyone at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Hartford, thank you for helping to fulfill that promise. Again, what is it? Who remembers? Who can say it with me? Every club, every kid, every day. So thank you all so much. I just want to remind you, if you purchased an auction item at the silent auction, you can pick that up at the auction tables outside of the ballroom doors. Thank you all again so much for being here, and I will see you on the news at 11 tonight.